I wanted to speak on what I call financial discipline and financial freedom. But I only spend around 15 minutes, so we better move together because I will be a bit fast. Let's speak on story number 1. Who did story number 1? This group, eh? What things are you looking at, or what a few things can you pick from that story? I want to. What is the highlights? If you are told to highlight, Kathy is here and they do a lot of highlighting. Eh? What can you pick from that? You want to say something?
Okay. Okay, something that I realized here, that Jill, he moved from a high loan payment home in a high-end estate and moved to a more affordable region.
Yes.
Yeah, so he moved from somewhere they used to pay high, the money they used to pay for that home, which is a high-end estate, to a more affordable region.
Exactly. So this couple here, or this guy here, Jill, is concerned about cutting costs, isn't it? Yeah, and those are some of the things that we fall, the temptations that we fall into. Now, what else?
Climate.
Uh-huh.
Climate, a better climate.
A better climate, yeah. Something else?
Savings.
Savings?
You can be making more and saving less, or you can be making less and saving more.
Yeah, the last statement says we can also save a lot more, even though we make lesser. That's a very strong point. So these guys, they have moved from a high-end estate to a low-end estate, or to, if I may call it, maybe a more cheaper place. So that number 1, they save. Now look at this. There's also a point here that they are saying, and we have more leisure time because we are not worrying about our jobs and expenses. So meaning these guys were not enjoying. They were not having leisure. Reason being, they were spending a lot. Okay, those are some of the highlights. Number 2, Mr. White. What about Mr. White and the wife? Or Mr. White and the wife? What things are we picking? Quickly.
You could be rich and you don't know.
You could be rich and you don't know. Yeah, that's true. Eh? By the way, it's true. What else? Quickly. I want just to pick on, what can you pick?
Early retirement, so you don't have to work all the years.
Don't want to work all the years exactly. You need just to plan. Something else? Oh, that's all?
Man is working for itself. He does not have to worry about working for money. That's why they're like kazi.
Pesa inajifanyia kazi.
This multiplying itself. So look at the last
From
statement.
7.
The last statement is saying, in other words, our man is now on his own path to perpetual financial freedom, regardless of what we save from here on out.
Exactly.
We don't have to do anything anymore. The man will just.
So this worth, they are worth, right now they are worth $700,000, eh? And they are projecting that this will move to 1.2 million. Eh? Okay, yeah. So money working for them. Eh? Finally, Kumo, 26. So even for those who are students, eh?
Okay, Justus, I have something to say on Mr. White. Decisions made today can give us confidence to face the future.
Decisions made today.
Yes.
Okay. Like?
Can either give you confidence So like the decisions you make today can
Will
either
impact.
give you confidence to face the future, opposite.
Okay, good. I think it's okay. Then finally,
Setting priorities, right? We chose to sacrifice his her earnings so that she could pay health loan.
yeah. Help loan, exactly. So these are some of the things that we do. Okay. So this guy has a loan of $28,000, and he's making 30,000 per year. That translates to around 3 million, isn't it? 3 million Kenya shillings. So, and he is able to offset that loan within how long? 3 years. Okay. And he becomes debt free. Okay. Financial freedom means I don't have to fixate on money so much. Okay. So those are some of the stories that I wanted us to pick, so that probably they may guide us as we look at financial freedom and financial discipline, because discipline is very critical in terms when it comes to our own personal lives. And you realize that the difference between those who prosper, or those who progress, or those who are financially free, and those who are not, it all lies on the way you are disciplined in terms of finances. So, probably a few things that I want us to understand is what is financial, management, or how do you describe as personal financial management? In a very simple way, okay? It is the way you control your income and your expenses. Okay, we don't have to go into those definitions or those financial, definitions. What you call as financial freedom or financial discipline is the way you control your incomes and your expenses. Basically that. Now, we have so many sources of incomes. Like I know there are those who are employed, there are those who are in business, there are those who are employed and are also in business, there are those who are employed and they also make some side hustles here and there. So all of us, in a way, we make some income. I know, maybe except maybe those who are students. And even nowadays, there are students who are also making money while they are studying, which is not bad, as long as you are going to balance between your studies and your academics. Some of the most common expenses, let me just talk about them so that I say what I want to say in a very short while. Now, we have utilities, we have house expenses, we have transportation, we have hobbies and entertainment, we have medical expenses, we have education, we have charity, we have projects that we do, and we have some maintenances that we handle every other day. So my question is, how are we going to handle these expenses so that we can say that we are prudently managing our finances? Financial management touches on everything, literally everything that we do. Like he said, we cannot run even a church without finances. A home cannot run without finances, because you need to pay rent, you need to educate, you need to eat, and all that. So the question is, how do you balance all this? Okay? Now, there are some of the things that I want us to look at that affect us in a very simple way. Now, number one, and maybe probably you can tell me, what are some of the ways in which you can say we misuse or we fail in managing our finances? Let me hear from you.
Impulse buying.
Pressure from
Okay, what did you say?
Impulse buying.
Impulse buying. But let me ask, is all impulse buying bad?
No. Yes, it's not bad.
Me, I would say, okay, listen, me, I would say, it is not all impulse buying which we can classify as bad, okay? It all depends. Like for example, let me give an example. Personally, I might not be intending to do any shopping, maybe probably as I leave office. Lakini nasikia kuna offer mahali. Kuna ka offer. Is that impulse?
Because the word impulse itself is
negative.
not a word, it's not a trait that you describe someone that you admire. So impulse by its definition is just unplanned spending. So if you say not all impulse buying is bad, I can ask you the same question, is all bad behavior bad? So we can say all buying is bad, but it's not the word impulse there. According to me, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Any other input? I wanted to understand what are some of the common patterns of poor financial management. What are some of them? Buy? To pay later. Credit, eh?
When expenses is more than your income.
When your expenses are more than your income,
Yes.
that's poor. Some of these things we are saying may not per se contribute to poor financial management. You might find that there are those underlying things that are very key as opposed to what maybe we think in a nutshell. Because like for example, I've given an example of, I have done a lot of buying personally, which I had not planned for. But for me, it has benefited me because, number one, for example, there was an offer of a TV, okay, which goes for maybe 25,000, okay? And if I were to buy it when it is not on offer, it will go for 41,000. Have I not saved?
No, impulse buying. Let me tell you.
But I don't have a TV.
If you go that line, you will be buying things every day. Yes.
They are offers every time.
Yeah, offers every time.
Impulse buying is not right.
Let's argue. Let's hear. Number one of the things that I cited is proper budgeting. Okay. Number two, that I picked on is what you call paying your bills promptly. That's number two. Okay. Number three, do not overspend. Number three, be strategic in your shopping. Okay? And then the other one is do not walk often. Do not walk often to your bank. How do you pick? Let's pick on number one. Like for example, we have talked about budgeting. Do we do budgeting? Like for example, if you asked me, let me tell you something that I began doing. I began doing budgeting when I was in high school. And even up to date, I do budgeting and I strictly follow my budget. Strictly follow my budget. No, you know, when you're doing budgeting, does not mean maybe you'll not spend anything maybe outside the budget, but it won't depend on the magnitude. For example, if your budget is, for example, you're budgeting for 50,000, and maybe you end up spending 52. Are you badly off? No. Oh, you guys, let's be practical. Let's be practical. Budget yako ya hii mwezi umepanga ni 50,000. Okay? Umeweka rent, umeweka shopping, umeweka kama kuna dress unanunua, kama kuna pesa unatuma kwa mzazi umeweka hapo na umebudget. Then probably you end up spending what? 52.
It depends with whether it affects, if it affects any other fixed unit buyer.
Kama amesema kama iko kwa budget ipite, as long as it affects any other labda school fees ama nini, hiyo wachana nayo.
Now the other big question is, when you are budgeting, what are you budgeting against?
Income.
Okay?
Income.
You are budgeting against what you have. Now, when you are doing a budget, what is the common pattern or what is the common behavior? And the common pattern is, my salary is 60,000. I do my budget, naona nitakuja ku spend around 50, alafu nitakuwa na floating cash ya 10,000, okay? Probably out of that 10,000, I may end up eating into it because I maybe over expenditure with around 2,000. Is that poor financial discipline?
That's good.
That's above average, 70%.
You are saying something?
I think it's okay.
It's okay.
It's not bad.
As long as you have surplus.
Because let me tell you, some of these things are so practical, and when you are doing budgeting, there are some things that come by the as a by the way. For example, you have not expected something, and it comes in. Ama maybe friend yako anakuja anakuambia, please nimekwama nikopeshe 1,000 na hiyo, ama unamwambia nitakupatia. Okay? So, strictly, let me say what I wanted to say in inertia. I wanted to engage you so that we may agree on this. Always number one, do budgets against your income. Okay? That is number one principle. Do budget against your income. Do not budget for projections that you don't have. Don't budget for anything that you don't have. I hear some people, even practically, when we are in office, somebody tries to budget for money that probably they are expecting and they are not sure. That is not prudent. You would rather budget with what you have, and then if it comes, then you do another budget for the same. Okay? So number one, budget against your income. Number two, and very key. Number two and very key, always make provisions. There is no way unaweza kuwa una earn 60,000 na unabudgetia 60,000 yote inaisha. That is not practical. You can't tell me you are doing a good budget. A good budget will always have some provision. Number three, when you are budgeting, always do not forget about the element of saving. Make sure that you provide for savings. Now, there are some few other things that probably Sophie will come and tell you. There are other things, and maybe Mulindi will come and tell you. There are other things that are very key, even when you are doing your budgeting, because it will always depend. Like, for example, you may want to invest. You may want to maybe secure your future, like plan for your retirement. Because some of these things are so factual, they will come. One day I will not be strong as I am. One day you will not be strong as you are Arthur. And therefore you should think about those years. And if you are not thinking about those years now, then there's a problem. Think about that time when you'll be 70. How would you want to live? And plan for it now. For those of us who are in formal employment, we are usually told you will begin planning for your retirement immediately. You get your first salary. Even those that are in business like Maureen, please plan for your retirement, because definitely one time you'll be 80 years. Okay? And you will not be as strong as you are. Hautakuwa unaweza kushuka na kumanage biashara vile ulivyo. So the best thing you can do now is to plan for retirement. So when you are budgeting, always remember those few things. Don't forget. So, what else? I wanted to pick on other few things. There are some other few things that I wanted to highlight. Now, but this one is obvious. You must record all your transactions. Carry small amounts of cash. Kuna watu wengine wanabebanga pesa mpaka unashangaa anabeba cash mingi hivyo ya kupeleka wapi. The other thing is keep low M-Pesa balances.
Hey.
Okay? And also reduce your trips to the ATM. Now, the reason as to why I'm saying this, there are some people who are very weak when it comes to spending. And you must, unajua sisi zote hatufananangi. Kuna watu wengine wakisema atafanya hivi, na kuna watu wengine as long as pesa iko, na iko kwa M-Pesa na iko kwa mfuko, ni kama anakuanga ina hit, anataka itumie mahali. So one of the things that I will advise us, because we are not all the same. Steve, I cannot be like you. Kuna watu wengine wakisema atafanya hivi, atafanya anything outside. Hata kama ameweka milioni kwa mfuko na ukuje umwambie tufanye hivi, never. But there are others, even when they have small amount of money, they can spend na ishe. So one of the things that you must do is understand yourself. Na kama uwezi ukamanage your expenditures, particularly when you have a lot of cash or when you are liquid, please ensure that you control your liquidity. Kama pesa ikiwa kwa ATM na uko na ATM card hapa, unaweza kimbia haraka uende uchukue na ufanye anything. Kindly ensure that you limit. Okay? There are some limits, maybe za ATM, or even you can transfer that money to another place, or even you can invest, or even you can make some standing orders kama unafanya kazi ziwe zinaingia maybe kwa investment ama kwa saving plan ama kwa kitu kama retirement ama kama insurance. There are so many things you can do, kwa sababu kuna watu wakiwa wako na pesa inakuanga shida.
Sisi inakuwa
okay? At the same time, pesa ambayo iko kwa M-Pesa pia, it is also liquid and you can spend it. So if you have that weakness, maintain low level M-Pesa balances. Very key. Okay, I'm skipping a few things and then I'll be done. Now the reason as to why we are saying this, ladies and gentlemen, is because if we have to invest, like for example, we had a discussion with Mulindi and we were saying we need to invest. And he's a guy who is loaded, you will hear.
Yes.
We were saying that we need to invest. And as Anguzo, we can invest. As individuals, we can invest. Even you can have a group and call it a name and invest. Begin small. Okay? You don't need to have millions so that you invest. You need to have the plan of investing. So we need to invest, and because we need to invest, we must identify ways in which we are going to make money and save money. What are some of the ways? Okay? In which you can, be able to save money. Number one, ni ile tulikuwa tunasema hapa. Always do not keep loans for long. Okay? If possible, don't keep loans for long. Okay, I know sometimes it may not be practical, lakini the more you keep your loans, the more they drain you. Now, for those of us who know, there was a period when Barclays gave a lot of loans. And those who fell victims, even today, they can tell you how they have suffered. Yes, you may take a loan to do some development. And you may eventually find that this loan is squeezing you more than necessary. And there are other avenues. There are other tricks which you can play about and make money as opposed to maybe borrowing. Because number one, when you borrow, you become a slave. And number two, loans are very expensive. Especially loans from banking institutions. They are very expensive. I'm not saying that because maybe among us are some bankers, but loans from banks, friends, I'm telling you, they are very expensive. We would rather divine other ways. Like for example, if those who have circles, it is better for you to go for a circle other than a bank. Okay? So always, don't keep loans. Make sure that you offset them as fast as possible. Number two, make sure that you keep a particular percentage of money or of your salary towards a saving or an investment plan. That is very key. And even nowadays, there are those this we are calling mutual funds. There are also, insurance, invest plans, okay? And even those of us who have small children, Sophie will tell you, make sure that you get an education plan for your child, okay? It is very, very important. Right now, from a practical point of view, I took education plan for my daughter Shanice, and very soon I'm going to be receiving checks. When she joins university, when she joins secondary, I will not be getting into my pockets ati nianze kumtolea fees, ati niseme oh nichukue ka emergency mahali, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. I just took a plan, education plan. I contribute every month. Na ina pinch kwa sababu nilichukua ile naweza manage comfortably. So contribute after some time, the insurance will begin giving me some, what do you call them? Bonuses, exactly, bonuses. They will begin giving me checks of bonuses, and therefore Shanice and even Jaden kusoma kwake haitakuwa stress kwangu. And those are some of the few things that we fail to consider. Because remember, in that future, you don't know what will happen. By the way, okay, we have faith. We have faith that everything will be good in future. But you also have to plan for yourself. You don't need to wait for that future. Kama ingekuwa hivyo, hata ingekuwa una plan maybe some of these major things or few things that we do, we plan for. So it is important. That was a point, by the way. So make sure that you save even for your children. Because this is the age. You know, hii age yetu inakuanga na mambo mingi. Hii ndio age yenye unafikiria kuoa. Hii ndio age yenye unafikiria kuanza kujenga. Hii ndio, yani hii age inakuanga na crisis mingi sana. We are also defining ourselves. Either you are defining us, that is why sometimes unapatanga even among between you and yourself. Kuna crisis mingi sana. Kwa sababu number one, unjui labda unataka job wapi. Unakaa kwa hii job unafikiria this one is not giving me what I want. Even the way where you stay is also a crisis. Kwa sababu haujadefine unataka kuishi nyumba ina gani. Mara unakaa kwa inaitangwa aje? Bedsitter unasikia hapana hii haifai. Wacha niende kwa one bedroom mama single. Na hata unaweza toka kwa one bedroom tena urudi kwa ile bedsitter. Because there are some things that you are working against, okay? By the way, yetu inakuanga na crisis. Even spiritually, we are in a lot of crisis. And it is understandable, even for me, it's understandable. Sometimes unaweza pata hata mtu ameacha church na ukimuuliza ana point kwa sababu kuna crisis. Anajaribu kumanage but this is an end of crisis. And therefore, even financially, we need to manage a few crises. Na hii ndio age tena wanapatanga mtu maybe amekopa hata anaweza toroka church kwa sababu ya kukopa. Na kwenye anaenda pia labda anaenda kufanya the same thing. Kwa sababu you are working against some few things. So always guys, it is important for us to think about our finances because that is the core. That is the core. And as we close, we shall engage one another and think about a few things that we can do. Because time is not on our side, okay? We can do a few things. We can start small. Think about the things that we can do even as a team. Think about that thing that you can do as an individual. Hakuna pesa dogo na hakuna pesa kubwa huku duniani. You can do much with little. And someone else who are smart anaweza kosa kufanya chochote. It all depends on how you approach it and the way you do your planning. Usikubali identity yako ikosekane ama ukose your identity at this age. So finally, there are few opportunities out there to do business. We can do some startups, okay? We can venture into, investing in stocks. We can venture into maybe some small business or production. We can venture into service, business. There are so many things that we can venture into. And, that is my thought. Recently, I opened a company. I have a company. And I'm thinking I'm thinking about what to do. Nimewaambia hii ndio ile age ya crisis. Recently I supplied some t-shirts. Na wakati nilisupply hizo t-shirts nikaachia hapo. Na nikasahau. Okay? So recently Cooperative Bank wakaniandikia message. Wakaniambia account yako ya Cooperative tunaona ulifanya transaction moja na it has been dormant for quite some time, so you need to come and activate it. So nikaanza kufikiria, now what do I do? What do I do with this business? Should I go into tendering? Should I go into service? What should I do? Because I'm also employed. Okay? So what basically I'm saying, there are some few things that we can think about, that we can comfortably do. Even when you're employed, there's something that we can comfortably do and be able to make our side income. Na hizo ndizo vitu nilikuwa nataka tufikirie. Maureen, there are so many things that you can even add into your business. Bado hujafika. Okay? And even in this age, I forgot also to tell you that it is the age which we should also add value and add a lot of education. Thank you, Moshiri. Amerudi shule na very soon we are going to call you doctor. Because we need doctors. We need the group ikuwe dynamic sana. Kiasi ya kuwa we are attending graduations here and there, left, right. We need to invest also in education. Yes. Maureen, you need to begin your beauty academy. Because you don't need to be there always. Hiyo kazi inafaa kuwa na manager wake. Na sasa wewe uingie into maybe una lecture ikikaakaa ukuwe wewe ndiye director na kuna we must think big. There are things that are coming to me, and that is why I went back to school. Because I said I need to have a lot of money coming from all directions. Bwana asifiwe sana. So this is the end. Now, at this point, I think nimeongea sana because I was speaking, jumping, so that I may save on time. But now,
you're in crisis.
Yes, I'm also in crisis because I'm also working against time. So at this point, I want to leave it at that. Maybe any other issue that might come, we might discuss in an open forum or when it comes to Q&A time.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to come before you tonight. Today is a special one because the Prime Minister is around. You know, most of us, when we are speaking, we lie. But it's only your wife who knows you. So now I'll be very careful. Yeah? So that when I go home, she does not tell me, you lied there. Why did you extend here and there? Now, what I was asked to talk about is so broad, I even don't know where to start from or where to go. Because I was told two things. One, to talk about investment and entrepreneurship. Now those two words are too much loaded. Now before we continue, we are all talking about money here. Now money, why are people blessed with more grace for money than the rest? And the defining moment are only two things. Number one, it's about principle of money. Number two, it's about knowledge about money. Are we together? Now, those are the principles, or those are the building blocks that will make you to either get more money, or get little, or get within. Bwana asifiwe sana. Amen. Now, I am talking to a very unique group here because, number one, we are Christians. We are Christians, we are supposed to have faith. Isn't it? Yes. At the same time, we are supposed to have wisdom. Is that right? Yes. So where do you define faith, or where does wisdom come in? Are we together? Now, if first of all we understand as a Christian, where do I need to have faith, or where do I need to have wisdom? It's only pegging on those two ideas I said. Number one is the principle about money. Number 2 is knowledge of money. Now, Justus has given us knowledge about money. Hallelujah. Amen. Now, that is about knowledge about money. But also we need to understand the principle about money in the eyes of God, because we profess Christianity. We are supposed to walk in the direction of Jesus Christ, and God is our Father. So what is the first principle about money in the eyes of God? Number 1, we do not own anything except what God has bestowed to us. That is the first principle. So even before you think about entrepreneurship, even before you think about saving, even before you think about doing anything about money, it should always be at the back of your mind, you do not have any money. You do not create any money. You do not keep any money. God allows you to have a certain, at particular time, because of the purpose and the plan he wants to do in your life. That is the principle number 1 about money. The second principle about money is you consider money as water that is coming from God, and a human being is a pipe. Right? So, the pipe can decide to be a big pipe, can decide to be a small pipe, can decide to be a rusty pipe, can decide to be a clean pipe. So the things that defines how much God allows into your life will depend on how big is your pipe, how small is your pipe, how clean is your pipe, how restricted is your pipe. Are we talking? Are we together? So I am still talking about the principle about money. Now, it is baseless to talk about investment. It's baseless to talk about entrepreneurship if you do not understand this idea. Now, God trains us in different ways. He will take you through certain crises, as my brother would tell it. But the purpose is to help you understand who you are, what you are capable of. Are we together? Now, the first time I ever made my first 10 shillings, and I discovered money is sweet. That is the time I knew money is good. Is after class 8, I couldn't be able to go to Form 1 because my father didn't have school fees. But I had passed so well in mathematics, my math teacher gave me 50 shillings note. And I used that 50 shillings note then to buy the first packet of scones at 20 bob. So I bought 2 packets, 20, and I sold them at 30. So at the evening, I had made 20 shillings. So that is the first time I started to realize it is so nice, it is so good to have what? Money. Now, for the 3 months I was home during the first term, I made so much money until I could be able to lend to my father, who was a teacher. So I said, wait a minute. There's something about money that makes you be so powerful that how could my dad beg me to lend him 500 shillings, yet he's my dad? You understand that? Now, it started to put into my head about money. So the third principle about money is good. Nobody should lie to you, money is bad. Money is good. It is so nice when you walk to a boutique and you don't look at the price and say, how much is that? And they say, give it to me. It is so nice to walk to a hotel and you don't look at the menu. Yeah, you know, when we were at the university, we could first of all look at, if you have 50 bob, so you look at what you can be able to afford with 50 bob. But it feels so nice, you just say, okay, bring me lamb chops and whatever, without looking at. Are we talking?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Hello? So why is someone saying money is bad? Yeah? It feels so nice when you say, okay, fine, today I want to go wherever I want to go. Instead of taking a bus or SGR to Mombasa, you say, okay, fine, can I get a flight to Mombasa tomorrow? And they say, no, Jambo Jet is full. Can you go with this? And you say, okay, fine, book me that. And you go there, in 45 minutes, you're in Mombasa. Money is good. So the question is, why is it that Christians, we profess, we work with God, and all this money is being given by God, yet we do not have? Why? Why is it that somebody will have more money than the rest? The Bible says God has given everyone a measure of faith. But everybody has a certain level of what? Faith. What determines how much you get is what you know and perceive about money. Now, God will never give you what you can never handle. Yeah? God will never give you what you can never handle. I was telling Justus the other day. Yes. And Brenda even doesn't know this. I almost killed my father by giving him money that he almost got a shock. So we left here, we drive to town. So I go to the account, give him certain amount of money, then he received notification. So I was dropping him at those smaller line, whatever, to go to Western. So then he gets a notification of what has been in his account. So now he starts to sweat. So for me, I thought either he's sick or something has happened, and it was so bad, so I had to bring him back home. He didn't go home that day. So we drove back home. Brenda didn't know what was happening, but I was so worried. So he went back to his guest room, and he was there for a day. Why? Because I had given him an amount. You see, in my mind, it is nothing, right? But for him, first of all, he got what? Shock.
Hallelujah.
Now, as I'm going to talk about investment, I'm telling you this, as I'm talking about investment, there is no way God can ever give you, and by the way, I told you, all monies are given by God. God can never give you money that he knows it will crush you. Are we talking?
Yes.
Today, in as much as I love my son so much, and I have the ability, even if they ask me to give them a speed motorbike that is going at 1,200 kilometers per hour, I will never buy them. I will buy them what? Toys. Why? Because I know if I ever gave them that motorbike, 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or 1 month, they will crash and they will do what? They will die. Now that's how God views you. So what do you need? You need knowledge. So as your knowledge grows about money, then God gives you more. Are we talking? So now, Justus talked about knowledge. Justus talked about knowledge about money. He talked about budgeting. It is very good. It's very good to reduce your cost. However, in terms of money, reducing the cost has an impact on you by one ratio. Increasing your revenue has an impact of 3. I'll repeat that. If you focus on reducing cost, it is a good thing. So it gives you an impact of 1 in your life. If you focus on increasing revenue, it gives you an impact of 3. So it is always at all particular time when you're looking about money, you look at reducing and doing what? Increasing. So it tells you God wants you more to focus on increasing than doing what? Reducing. Are we talking?
Yes.
So some of us focus so much on reducing. I earn 60,000. I want to reduce, and you don't even think about how do we increase, how do I have extra? And that does not please God. God looks at it and he feels grieved in your heart. Why? Because the knowledge we have is only based on reduction. But when we have the knowledge that is both on reduction and increasing, then God is happy. Because he knows now your pipe is half an inch, you change it and you do 1 inch, you change it and you do 3 inch, then one day you'll do a pipe like those from Dakain where you can walk in. And that's now what pleases what? God. Okay. Now, something I want to talk about, for you to be prudent about money, there is a certain ratio that is acceptable about money. Always, when you have any amount of money, there is a ratio of 10 to 20 to 10 to 10 to 50. Now I'll talk about that. So money should always at any particular time. And this is based on the principles of God about money in the Bible. Now I am talking about how God wants it. Now Muslims have even, the Islamic faith have even practiced this. And that's why these principles work. They will always have what? Money. They will always live a happy life. Every time you receive money, 10% belongs to God, which is the tithe. 20% depends on your family, the people you live with, the people you always stay with. Yeah? 10% depends on people God will bring your way and you may not know them. Yeah? These are situations, these are people, you may not meet them, you may not know them. So always know at any particular time God has given you money, he will bring somebody on the road and say, sina fare kwenda whatever natafuta 50 shillings. Mimi sina school fees. And he walks in your office like Mushiri and say, Mimi sina school fees. God will always bring those situations. So you must always say, you must always know, if I got 1,000 shillings, if God allowed me to get 1,000 shillings today, I have given 10% as tithe, which is 100. I have given 20 to people around me. If you are married, your wife, your children, or your husband, or whatever, they must also feel. Don't be so stingy as a husband. Yeah? Those who are married, right? Or those who are not even married, where you stay, you are working, but you can never give your brother even lunch. You understand?
Or girlfriend.
Or girlfriend. You can never take your girlfriend out for lunch. Yeah? Hello? The people who are close to you, they must always feel. Yeah, they must feel and say for sure, Justus has gotten a job now. Or Mushiri now, he's the ward administrator. Sasa ukifanya unakazia ati. Hello? After that, we have what we call 10% on yourself. On yourself. So on yourself. So even if you are going to do impulse during that time, let me tell you, God is like a father, and when God gives you a toy, when a father buys the child a toy, he expects the child to do anything with it. So long as they are not spoiling it. They can run with it, they can step on it, they can do whatever it is. So when God has given you, for example, a salary of 10,000, he expects one day you just pick 1,000 and say, I want to feel how does it feel to buy tea at Kempinski. You just go there and say, can I have mixed tea? Because it's within the 1,000, right? So as a lady, you say, okay, I want to feel, or I want to see how does it feel today. I just want to do my nails for 700 shillings in this particular salon. Now, those are the things that God looks at it, and God smiles, by the way. So long as we have 10% for God, 20% people around you, 10% the people you never meet, you do not know them, situation that you don't plan for, and then you are left with 50%. 50% should be now for your growth and development. Are we together? So I only have now 20 minutes to go. So now, I want to talk about investment first before I talk about entrepreneurship. So what is investment? People do not understand what is investment. Investment simply means I incur money, and the money that I've incurred, or the expenditure, or the time I've put in, it will yield more. Are we talking?
Yes.
This includes personal investments. For example, if you are a keyboardist and you only know 2 or 3 keys, and you decide, I want to go to school so that I can know all the keys, that is an investment, because after that, you are a better person. Some of the investments here, we are talking about buying a better tool for your work. So Firul here maybe could be having this type of camera and gives this type of pictures, but he needs a better one. So he decides to do what? To invest. Invest simply means, if you are a product of yourself, some of you may decide to invest in the clothing. Some people may decide to invest in the car they drive. Some people may decide to invest in education. So investment should be own generated. Don't feel pressure to do investment because somebody is doing it.
Hallelujah.
Are we talking? So don't do things because somebody else is doing it. Now, somebody can decide to go and buy a suit of 50,000. He has a reason why he did that. Yes. Don't do it because he's doing. Yes. You understand? Somebody can decide to go buy a very expensive car, and you also want to go buy a very expensive car. Don't do it because you don't know the reason. Are you talking about? Are we talking?
Yes.
Now, you see, when I bought this particular Jaguar, everybody was telling me, you are stupid, you are foolish, you are what? Why can't you buy a 40 by 80 in Ruaka and do 54 houses and they will be giving you 600,000? They never knew why I was looking at that. It's because the nature of the business I want to do, there are certain people you will meet. You understand? You know, in December I was meeting Manu Chandaria. Yeah? And when I went to his home, the first time I went to the Prado, they never opened the door. I'm telling you the truth.
I said.
So they told me he's not in, go. So I called him. He told me, but did you come? I said, I came. He said, okay, fine, come another day. So I went home tomorrow, and then I came with my car very well. They never even asked for. They opened. Yes. So by the time they're asking, who are you, I had already there. What am I trying to say? Now, this is the point I want to say. It is called tools of trade. So I want people to understand what is investment. Are we understanding? Are we talking? It is, okay, look, it is not always that way. It is not bad to buy land. It is not bad to buy whatever. But God has given every person their line of doing things. God will bless everyone individually, how to do your business, how to make money. Don't always copy people. Because everybody is rushing to go and buy a 40 by 80 in Ruaka, you are also there, and you are feeling pressure to go there. No, God is telling you, invest in a good camera of 300,000, forget about buying a plot of 120,000. And God will bless you more with that camera than the plot. There are those that God has given that particular grace. Are we talking?
Yes.
So, what is the first principle of investment? What is the first principle of investment? Number one, investment, for every shilling you put in, you must get a higher value. For every money that you put in, it should ever to give you more than what you put in. If your business is to put on hair worth 120,000, then what that hair should do to you, it should give you more than 120,000. Are we talking? If your business is to buy something of 50,000, then it must give you more. Number 2 principle, the return must be dictated by the demand. So you must be able to understand that there is a demand for people or for churches to come, for me to come and train them on music. You must understand, first of all, there is that particular demand. Then you say, okay, fine, for this particular purpose, I'll go to school and increase my knowledge on the music so that I can be able to tap on the what? Demand. Never do any investment when you do not have analyzed the demand for what you are investing in. This includes going back to school. Don't just go back. It's good to have knowledge. But why are you choosing that particular course? You must have done your cost analysis and seen that it is good for me to do this course because there is a demand here. And I am putting in 400,000 to go back to school. I expect after I'm cleared, I'll be able to earn 1 million based on this demand. Are we talking?
Yes.
Never do any investment because you people are just doing it. So you're just joining it. You're just buying, you say, okay, fine, I want to make cakes. And you see everybody buying, things to do with making cakes, and you go buy. Have you looked at the demand? Are we talking? Are we agreeing? Are we talking? Now, that now brings to me to the point of demand. Demand must be forecasted and must be growing. Now, you've seen on social media, they've started to say, we want to get locust and sell, right? Yeah? So now everybody is going to do 50, everybody is now going to have a way of how do you collect locust and sell. You see, guys are creating what we call fake demand so that they now prey on you. And that's how what we call pyramid scheme comes in. Yeah? A story is told of a foreigner who came to Africa and lost all the money. And he sat somewhere and he saw so many, the only thing he could see in his backyard were monkeys. So he thought, how can I make money? Or where can I ever get money and go back to Europe? This is just a jungle and there are so many monkeys. So he thought, okay, what I'll do, I'll create what we call a fake demand for monkeys. So he looked for 2 shillings and he said, $2. So he said, okay, fine. Anybody who brings me 10 monkeys, I'll buy them. For every 10 monkeys, I'll buy them for $1. People started to laugh. See, people started to laugh at the story. So one person decided to do it, brought 10 monkeys, he gave them $1. Another one brought them, he gave them $1. So he went, kept them in a cage. So he looked again and said, okay, fine. After a week, he looked for money, more money. He said, okay, now, instead of $1 for every 10 monkeys, I'm going to give you $5. So now people started to move around. So many people now, there was an increase in bringing the what? The monkeys. Right? So now he went and bought those dollars. Went and bought all those monkeys. So he spent an extra maybe $50. But still it wasn't enough to take him back to Europe. So he kept all those monkeys. So he said, okay, now the demand for monkeys has increased. For every 10 monkeys, I'm going to give you $50. Now everybody was out looking for monkeys. So until now, the demand for monkeys were now low, right? So he struggled and bought all those monkeys. So now he came and said, now after he's known that he's exhausted all the monkeys into the jungle. So he came and said, now, for every 10 monkeys, I will give you $10,000. Now there was no monkeys, right? So he told his gardener to sell the monkeys to people, one monkey at $500, right? So he's the one who was having all the monkeys, right? So he bought the monkeys. For every monkey he was buying it for 10 monkeys, was buying for 50. So he created a fake demand, right?
Yes.
Then he comes and say, okay, fine. You go out, talk to the people, and pretend you are compromised. So that now the people are paying you $500 for every monkey, so that they come sell to me the following day at 1,000. So now everybody was lining up. So now this, the attendant to the monkeys now was pretending now at night. You can't give him $500 at night, he gives you one monkey. But of course you go keep it, you'll bring it the following day tomorrow, right? So by morning, the attendant had sold all the monkeys at $500. And he gave it to this guy and he left. Now everybody was there with their monkeys. That was the origin of what we normally hear. Don't bring me monkey business here.
Yes.
Have you heard about that? Yes. It is the story of demand versus supply. Now, so many people are gullible to being pushed to fake demands. One day somebody came and told me, you can buy quails at whatever. I laughed at him and said, look, I'm from Vihiga and all these quails, we grew up with them. Where was that demand? Where was that supply? You understand? It is one person who came up with and faked what we call a fake demand for quails, and everybody was investing. So after you've invested, he was telling you, I'll come and buy. The same principle with the monkeys. So you are giving 40,000 to do what? To buy. So don't be gullible. Always look at, is the demand best? Is a demand that is going to be there as long as the time lives? Don't rush right now to buy into locusts, because you hear that now so and so is buying locusts at 50 kg, at 50 bob per kg. So now when somebody is selling locusts at 20 bob, now you are going there to buy 100 kgs so that it goes to sell to him. You understand? So the demand must be based on sustainability demand. Are we talking about, are we understanding? So to avoid things to do with pyramid schemes, you look at the demand. Where is the demand originating from? Today, everybody consumes water. So if you tell me you want to sell water, I will understand where the demand is coming from. Everybody eats. If you tell me, I'll understand. Everybody, they have to use public means from Gong to town. If you tell me I want to have a bus, I'll understand. So always think about such modes of investment. Don't put money in things that you do not understand. They are not there. So you are told there's a cryptocurrency here. I'm sorry if somebody has lost money here. So if you put money here, it will grow, and then you can sell, and then it will grow, it will grow, it will go. Come 20 years from now, it will be 100,000. Where is the demand? And then the person who started cryptocurrency says, the wife says, he shot himself, and then he died with the password. And he left the money in the cryptocurrency, whatever, he left $66 billion. Hello?
Atafuvuka anakuambia.
Hello? Okay, what I'm telling you is the reality.
Yes, very true.
Hello?
Yes.
You know, I hear people Okay, we run HMB, which is a business that looks at it's a business that looks at startups. So many people, all these stories, I hear them. So the first question I always ask the person when they walk into the office, we are looking for money to invest in this. We can trade online and buy dollar here and sell it here. I say, okay, fine. So how much money do you make? I make about 4%. So where will you buy a cheaper dollar and sell it more expensively? Because buying and selling, I'm not saying such a business does not happen, but it must be a highly level understanding of a person to either say, today the Singaporean economy has shrunk by 2% because of one or two things that happened, therefore the dollar has come down by 2%, we can sell to the Singaporean. So if I know you have such a knowledge, I'll understand. But you see any other person, you that comes and say, we can buy dollars at 2% and sell it at whatever. It's the same thing that happened in in Kiambu. People lost money. Why? You are being told something to invest and the demand you do not understand. Where you cannot see the demand for that, forget. Let your money stay in there. Now I'll tell you another thing that maybe you'll feel offended. In Nairobi, everybody is telling you go buy land in Kisaju. Right? Every day, Maina Kageni is advertising Kisaju. I don't know where, I don't know any radio station you hear Kisaju. The question is, after we have bought land in Kisaju, what happened? What happened? So they're telling you, because this GR is passing there, it will go up 3 times. Price is dictated by demand and supply. So tell me economically how the demand will push the price of that land to go up.
It is monkey business.
It is monkey? It is monkey? Now you don't need to be smart in this. Only look at what is the demand versus the supply. Just look at it. Don't always rush to remove money from the account to put somewhere because everybody is going there. Now, the greatest person who has ever invested in this world, called John the Rockefeller, had one principle, and he said, always invest when there is blood on the street. Now, what he meant is, when everybody is running from the street, then you can do what? Why? Because the demand is going to be high, the supply is going to be low. Don't always follow the crowd. That everybody, there are buses that are taking you all the way to Kajiado. Okay, if you've done that, I'm not saying you whatever, but now you need to be more smart. So you leave very early, Saturday, 2 a.m., and you go 70 kilometers, right? And you are told 3 years from now the land will be double. Trust me, that is mangi.
True.
Anyway, there's a lot I can talk about investment, but look at what it does. It have demand? Does it have a solid? Does it have a solid demand for what you're going to buy? What is the supply like? Number 2, never assume the demand versus supply will ever go beyond 50%. That is the principle about money. Never will you ever put money and get 50% in a year, unless it's Shiloh or Mshwari or Tala. They are the only ones who can make such amount of money, and they know they are doing illegal in terms of, in the eyes of in the eyes of international money investment.
They are not regulated.
They are not regulated. So always go, if you look at 20%, 30%, be comfortable. It is a real thing. But anytime I'll come and tell you, look, invest here, you put your money here, and then we'll grow the money double. The question you should ask yourself is, where are you going to take my money to double it and bring it to me? Are we understanding? Are we talking? Like there's this pyramid scheme that started on, is it called Charge Gold or Charge something? And people were really investing money. The guy was going to church and say, look, now God has said we want to make money and all that. You know, And Christians are very gullible. Faith, I said faith versus wisdom. Right? So I come here and say, yeah, now we can make this money. Daisy, yes. And you can invest from 2,000 shillings to 2 million shillings, and within a year the money will double. And everybody's putting in money. Everybody's putting in money. The question is, for that person to give me double, he must have made profit on it. Where did he put it and double the money? So I will only double a few people here, bring you, and then go disappear with your money. Hello? There is no 100% return on money you give. Otherwise, all the billionaires will triple their money. Hello? Yes. Today, if I have 5 million in my account and I know I'll double it overnight, I'll double it today, I'll get 10 million. I'll double the following day, I'll get 40. So give me a month, how much will I have? $1 trillion, isn't it? It never happens. I have 5 minutes to talk about entrepreneurship and business. Now, if you cannot do, there are two ways you can invest. There's passive. There's a passive way to invest, which means you can put it somewhere, the money works for you. You can buy something and sell it later, or you can buy something that is going to give you more money. That is passive investment. But also there's what we call active investment. And so many people here, they say, I want to start a business, I want to do something, I want to invest, I want to do what? Now, you must understand, there are 4 levels for those people who now want to go into what we call business. There's a whole confusion about business, entrepreneurship, whatever, self-employed, they don't know where it is. You must first of all understand, where are you? When you understand where you are, you should be able to walk those steps, or you should be able to do things that are associated with where you are. The very basic, the first way to actively grow your money is normally called self-employment. That is the starting point. Starting self-employment means, okay, I know how to make hair, I can start my salon there, and I can be doing it myself. That is level number 1. The principle with that is, you must know your business depends on you. You are the sole proprietor, you are the manager, you are the what, you are the everything. It is a good thing. That step is so crucial in your life because it helps you know how do you market, how do you talk to people, how do you do, it takes you through the entire stages of a business. Now this prepares you in future when you now be on the top ladder as an entrepreneur. You are able to know how to deal with the CEO of your business, the marketing director of your business, and all that. So don't always underrate. The Bible says, do not overlook the days of humble beginnings. So what people call business always start with self-employment. So you decide, okay, fine, today I want to quit my job and I want to do this. The first question you should ask yourself is, what I've been earning and what I'm going to get in a month, is it double? Hello? If you've been employed and you're being given 50,000, for you to live and say you're going to be a self-employed, always use the rule of 1, 2, 2. If you can never make double what you're doing, it is not worth. Don't always jump from moving employment. You've seen people who earn 200,000, they say, yeah, now I've started my own. It is a good thing, but it requires a lot of energy. It depends on you. If you are there, it will not happen. If you are sick, it will not go on. Are we talking? Yes. So always use the ratio of 1 to 2. That is the first stage of being a self-employed. Now, after you become a self-employed, your business will start to grow, right? Now you'll now start to become what we call a business, or let's say now it moves now from you being alone to being 2 of you or 3 of you. Now this can either be a professional businessman, right? Now, like you are now offering a certain profession that people can now come. So these are the people who call themselves now consultants, right? So if you started making cakes, you are alone. Now you'll move into, let's say, a bigger business where now more people will say, okay, come teach us how do we make cakes and all that. Now you've started becoming a business professional because you perfected your act. People now know you. Now before you move to a professional businessman, what you should realize is always have 2 or 3 people who can be around you and you can trust. Not more than 3, not less than 2. Are we talking? Now I may not go into all these details, but at least it should keep you at the back of your mind. One of the person is a person who can be able to look at your face and say, what you're doing is wrong, without fearing. One of the other person that always you should have is a person who always encourages you. As a Christian, you should support somebody who can pray for you, somebody who can encourage you, because when you now move from self-employed and coming now to a business professional, the stresses of business increase. The business has increased, the revenue has increased. Now you're making 1 to 5. If you compare, if you're now a business professional, from what you're making and what you used to make when you are salary, averagely it's in the tune of 3 to 5. So the stress also increases. Are we talking? Now, another thing is, for you, before you move now from that level to a business owner, you must stay there for at least 5 years. Hello? You can never call yourself a business owner unless you have gotten 5 years. Why 5 years? Out of the 5 years, the first year you'll make stupid mistakes. The second year you'll have to learn and create now a database. People will now start to know you in business. People will now start to associate with you. They'll start to learn about your quality. You'll have known what people want. Year 3 is when you now start to make profit and money. Year 4 is what you are enjoying. Year 5 now is when you are celebrating. And then now you move to what we call business owner. So business owner now is now Maureen, who has a salon. And she has 3 or 4 people. Now during that time of growing business, during that time now as a business owner, you should be thinking of dissociating yourself from the business in the next 5 years. You should be asking yourself every morning, suppose I don't go to this business for 2 days, what will happen? So that is the question you must be asking yourself every morning. If I don't go to work today, what will happen? It's a question you must ask yourself every morning when you're going to go to that particular business. And what it's telling you is you need now to start to build pillars that the business does not depend on you. It doesn't need to crash. It doesn't need to whatever. And then now, if you successfully put up structures that are needed, if you now think of new products, if you can project your business beyond 15 years, then you are now called an entrepreneur. So at the level of entrepreneurship is, you no longer be looking at your business as a hair making alone, but you'll be looking at related businesses. That is the circle now you can only go through until now you can say, I can let my business grow. 3 things that are common to all these stages. Number 1, God has to prepare you before you start on either of this. The steps of a righteous man are ordered by God and is pleased in them. Before God used Moses to go and talk to Pharaoh, he made sure that Moses was born in Egypt, right? He made sure that Moses was born in Pharaoh's palace so that when he comes to meet Pharaoh, he does not meet surprises. Hello? There's a time I was telling someone between Uhuru and Raila when they were fighting, why it's easy for Uhuru to become president is because he grew up in the State House, right? Now God, always look at the things that you passed through. Always look at the things you used to do when you were small. That's where your ideas for business stem from. They will never grow far from there. When you are a child, when you are 2 years, when you are 5, 10 years, when you're in secondary school, whatever, when you're in university, when you're in college, those are the things God was preparing you, showing you this way you need to do. Because you'll just find them, you're doing them without struggling. Now, how do you know this is an idea that I should run with? You do not struggle to do it. And that is my final remark. Sorry, I've taken 42 minutes.